You realize there's 22 million people living in this country now that don't realize they only have a few more days to make this decision. Okay, do they want to get an $8,000 grant to help pay for health care? Or do they want to pay an extra $95 in taxes? You're going to be fined like $95 in taxes if you don't go and get an $8,000 grant. And it's really part of Obamacare. That's what's happening. Okay, the end of March is the last time, that you could really apply now before they're going to get you with that $95. But more importantly, you don't have to apply for the whole thing right now. So you just have to sign up and not even make any decisions. Put your name in there, at healthcare.gov, go there and start an application, and then there'll be a little blue box to check, that you're not ready to make the full decision yet. You need more time, and they'll give you, actually they're saying now to the middle of April, but who knows how, they may extend it more and everything. I mean, the system is so screwed up, the online system, and everybody's having so much problems with it. But even if you're having problems with it, man, I mean, just like, how many problems you have with Comcast? At least me, man. These people are dreadful to deal with, or Verizon, or any of these big companies. So, I mean, if Comcast said, well, we're going to give you free cable forever, or something like that, man, you would be on hold for a long time, would you, to get that? So this is your health care. And remember, all the programs, you get free checkups all the time. Any preventative medicine is free and everything. No out-of-pockets, no nothing. So it's an incredible deal. And health is more important than damn cable, isn't it? And they just came out with a study now. This is why there's 22 million Americans. It shows that 50% of the uninsured, there are like 44 million people that don't have any health care in this country. 44 million. Half of them don't even realize that they have to apply by March 31st. And now you just sign up and put your name in, and you don't have to make the final decision for a couple weeks. And then it's still, there's exceptions, and there's always ways around everything. But just get in there and sign up, even if it's a pain in the butt or whatever. Man, this is your health. What's more important? You can't do anything in life if you're not healthy, right? So healthcare.gov, go there, or you call this 800 number, 1-800-318-2596, 1-800-318-2596. But start with the website, because they're going to send you there anyway. And then if it's a pain in the butt, what the heck, turn on the TV or something. And wait for the thing to chug and chug and chug. But it's your health. If you have time, Google this article. It's from the New York Times. It's called "A Side Business as a Way to Gain Financial Security." Nobody has security anymore, right? You're being laid off even if you have a government job. So no job is secure. So having a side business, something like that, is a way to get financial security. And this woman really tells you about how easy she did it. Actually, what she was doing, she's a writer. So she found this website called Esty, maybe some of you know it, ESTY.com. They do $1 billion worth of business. And anybody can go on there and show their goods and services, crafts. There's a lot of hand crafts on there. But what she wanted to do was an information product, a book, actually a financial planning book, which costs nothing to make. It just takes time to do it. And she signed up on there, spent some time developing the book. So she had to do that. And actually, she hired a freelance designer for $100. So that was her cost, $100 to hire a designer for her books. And actually, she had some hard copies printed, but nobody bought them. So she spent about $300 doing that. So she didn't have to do that, because people just downloaded the PDF files. So it would have cost her only $100. And on this site, what they do is they charge you like, I think it's 20 cents for every product you put on, and then they take 3.5% commission, a percentage of your sales. And it took her a while to figure it out, maybe for a few weeks or months or whatever it is, but she finally got it up to, I think it was like $200 was the first level. $200 a month. That was extra money, free, no other expenses after she paid the $100 or whatever. And then she got up to $5,000. And then, it didn't happen by itself. She had to go out on the internet and find people and tell them about the source, but it cost her no money. And so she still has the full-time job. She's making an extra $5,000 a year doing this. She doesn't have to buy somebody's package or something on how to do things, because when you do that, they're making all the money. You're not making all the money. If you go out and do something like this, an SD or some kind of private, where you're selling your own goods and services that you make up, that's the way to make extra money. Buying somebody else's business, all you're doing is making some money for somebody else, and they usually charge you for it. So that means it's not real easy. So you might as well struggle on something you know first, or something that you want to do. Like here, there's some other people she talks about in here. Like a lady who designs, or actually this guy, who is this? Oh, she handles marketing by day for a skydiving center. So she works in a skydiving center. She gets very little money, but on the side, what she does is help 20-somethings with their job resume. So that's an extra income she makes. All free, no expenses, just extra income. Or here's a guy in Washington, D.C. who was working for his dad, Deli, and he was designing cakes on the side. And his dad went out of business. So at 40 years old, he started a cake designing business, and all of a sudden making $33,000 a week. Cake designing, just out of his home or whatever. I mean, this is, it's so easy to start part-time businesses, while you're doing full-time as having income security. So that's what it's about. How do you get income security? Keep your full-time jobs, start something small-time on the side. There's ways like this to do it. And a good way, find this article again, a side business as a way to gain financial security, and just Google that. You'll see it's from the New York Times, give you all the details. There's a lot of ways to make money out of there. I'm putting on a free webinar, and it's called How to Get Your Share of $15,392 worth of free money or free services from the government to start or expand your own business. This could be a full-time business, part-time business, or an existing business that you already have and you want to take it to the next level. See, that's the amount of money I feel that anybody could get from the government, no matter who you are, with me or without me. It doesn't matter. The whole point of the webinar is to educate people about the help that's there. People are looking for other money to do things in the world and get ahead because things are tight now. Well, there's ways to get that to happen with free help and even free money. And that's what the webinar is about. So if you go to lesko.com, lesko.com/mybusiness, MYBUSINESS. I flunked English in college, so don't trust me. So it's lesko.com/mybusiness. And sign up for one of the sessions. There's various times and days that they're available. And remember, it's free, and it's going to help you start any kind of business. Okay, well, how'd you like to make $500,000 by collecting just free email addresses on a website that you could set up for almost free? That's what this next guy did. I mean, it's a brilliant idea. See, there's ways on the internet you could go out and raise money, through these crowdfunding sites that, a lot of people that we've interviewed have gotten money that way. They get 50,000, 100,000, or even 10,000, or maybe 200,000. Well, he was looking for investors, and he thought that the best way to get investors is to put his idea on his own website, and generate traffic, just by using social media and things like that, and offering just by himself a free app. He's a programmer, so he figured out how to write an app. And it's an app that handles your family photos like nothing else. I mean, there's a lot of things out there, but it's a restrictive app, so only grandma and you and things like that, could use this. So it's a cool idea. So he thought this was a cool idea, but he wanted to get big money. He wanted $500,000 to $1 million. So to convince the big money guys who have that kind of money to invest in ideas, he went out on the internet to collect internet names to prove to these fat cats that this is really a sellable idea. And it happened. And now he's got over $500,000 already just by collecting email addresses. But people say, yeah, I want this when it comes out. So how do you verify So somebody's going to invest in you. You just can't say, hey, this is a great idea, because we don't know. And to tell you the truth, nobody knows what a great idea is. You could have an opinion, but you really don't know until you put it out there on the market. So somebody invest in your idea. If you come in with 10,000, 20,000 names of people already told you this is a great idea and they want it, man, you can't beat that. And that's why it becomes so much more of a secure investment by anybody giving you money to do something. But again, don't forget, you get a partner that way. But if you need that kind of money, maybe a partner's worth it. You never know. And actually, he did a delightful video. This video he has in here with his child, he's got like a 5-year-old or something. It's just funny as heck. So if you don't do anything, just watch this video, but watch this first. Well, Ethan Levitt, man, with the Yovi. Man, I can't get over how you're going to get $500,000 with just getting email addresses in a few weeks. You already got 10,000 email addresses in 2 weeks, and you're looking for another 10,000. And now people have promised you like almost $500,000 because of this incredible photo idea you have that's going to revolutionize family photos, isn't it? How does it work? Totally. But and the app is going to be free for everybody.
Yeah, it is. Like we're doing something nobody has ever done with a free app.
So in other words, you're really guaranteeing to investors that, hey, this thing is really cool. Look, I got 10,000 people want this sucker already, and I don't even have it, right?
Yeah, like they know that we're going to start with a real audience base. So it makes sense for them. Like they're saying, well, instead of investing in startups that just started right now, we now have this startup that has this hype and buzz around it and has already a real customer base to start with. So it's a much easier investment to make.
So in other words, if you have, so you're really developing a model for somebody who's looking for money from investors to go out and just use the internet. So I mean, how much it costs you on the internet? A couple $100 or something like that to do a video, right? And on the internet, and generate excitement on the internet to get the names and prove that you got something that is going to sell.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, it's not easy. Like you should have.
Oh gosh! Oh no! I mean, I'm gonna have to work to do this. Oh no! It's not instant. This is America. Everybody wants it. But it takes time and thoughtfulness to do this.
Yeah, actually, this video was a process that we talked with so many parents and. The wording of the video, the script, is based on so much experience of talking with our customers. So when other parents that we didn't talk with saw it, I guess the words and the way we told the story is something that resonated for a reason.
Yeah, well, but actually for entertainment value, people got to see that video. I mean, even if you don't put in your email address to get one of these free apps when they're available, right? Is that what you get when they're available? You get the free app when they come out if you put in your name?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, you got to see the video. I mean, he seems like, the new comic star from Israel who's going to take over the world. And you'll see him in Hollywood soon. It's so charming. And I guess your daughter, who your product is named after, Yovi, right? Is that how you say it?
Yovi.
And that she's in this, and she's just a delight, and it's just fun to see. But it's a family product. I mean, this is a product that, like when we were talking earlier, it's like when we used to, in my generation, we'd invite family over to see all our slides for the past 5 years of our kid or our trip to Israel or whatever it is, and they sit there and want to see every little detail, 1,000. You can't do that on these other photo apps, but yours can't, and your app is private, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like you wouldn't put, using your example, you wouldn't go to the street and put the pictures of your kids in the bathtub on the street for everybody to see,
Exactly,
right?
right.
But you would show them like how cute they are in the bathtub when they're babies, when people come to your living room, because it's private. It's private, it's intimate. You control who sees what. And that's exactly the experience UV enables you to do, to just control exactly who sees the photos of your kids.
So when you say,
this is,
go ahead, I'm sorry, go ahead. This is what?
and this is something that today, well, the default in Facebook and in Instagram, and people use the default, is that things are much more public and less secure in that sense.
Yeah, well, it's, I guess, having private albums like we did before we had computers, but using the technology and the convenience, so grandma doesn't have to come over your house every time to see 100 photos.
Exactly.
Which is wonderful. Well, when you said it wasn't easy, and to me, but it wasn't a big money of it. I mean, you didn't get $100,000 to do this thing. I mean, you really took time and energy and your skill and trying to figure out the problem. And what was interesting when you were talking about how you didn't even realize this was a problem, like until just you started talking to, you said you started backwards. You didn't look for a problem. You looked for what people were worried about.
Yeah, well, I see myself as an entrepreneur, and UV isn't my first company. It's actually my third. My first was, and actually my first one was moderately successful. My second one crashed and burned. And
that's real life. Real life.
Yeah.
So now you're a comeback kid coming back.
Yeah. So that's why we did things differently. But instead of thinking of an idea and just coding it, we started looking for, we said, let's do something for parents. And instead of thinking of an idea, we looked for a problem, which was this opposite process from what I'm used to. Instead of, being this, I am Steve Jobs, I'm this visionary, and I'm so smart. It's a very humble place of saying, I don't know. And let's just listen and look at behaviors of parents.
So you went out and did research with parents.
Yeah, we talked with a lot of...
Instead of just saying, hey, this looks like an interesting idea, I'll sit down and I'll code the hell out of this because I know how to code. But you spent a lot of that energy really talking to hundreds or dozens or whatever parents to see exactly, maybe, because you didn't have the idea yet, and they gave you the idea, right?
More than 120 parents.
120 parents, wow.
Israeli and American, like we had a really hard time reaching American parents. But actually, when we found the problem, it became much easier because suddenly moms, like I remember this mom from New York, that I talked with her about her photos and her photo habits. And she was so excited that somebody is trying to solve, that is even talking with her on her problems regarding photos of her kids, that she just sent me emails saying, tomorrow call Jennifer at 2 p.m., this is her phone. Call Samantha at 4 p.m., this is her phone. It was amazing. And like that was one of the signs for me that this is a problem worthwhile solving.
So now you had really basically nobody at that point of your time, right? And you were wondering about, wow, you may have to go get a real job again or something like that. And you said, hey, we'll do this video and get names and to show investors that this really has a market. And so you came, and now that you're halfway done, investors are coming in with you and want to give you money before you're even finished.
Yeah, actually, that's a crazy consequence we didn't foresee. Like, we had this playbook of things we got to do to make this campaign work. So the first thing was to get 15 friends to share it on their Facebook. And from there, we just exploded. And we didn't have any time to do the second line in our playbook. And we're now just, like, we've got like more than 30 incoming investors.
Wow.
Just talking, scheduling meetings. We've already, and we're getting term sheets. And like, this is Like this is real. This is real stuff.
Wow! And 2 weeks ago, you were nobody and almost had to get a job. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, isn't the internet terrific? Now, so people could still go, get on the list, get your email in
Go
there.
to www.uv.co, put your email, and most importantly, share it with your friends.
Yes, okay. He wants more investors. That's YOOVI.co, right?
Yes. Correct.
Wonderful. Well, you're a delight, and give your daughters a hug. Talk to you soon.
Much, man.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Fun guy, right there. So, and actually, he's in Israel. In Israel, man, they're really booming with entrepreneurism like this, and creating ideas and creating jobs and things like that. And that's what we have to do more of that in this country. So, if you have a job, an idea, and see, there's ways to do it. And see, he probably spent a few $100s or something doing that website, Max, to collect the names or whatever. So you could learn that. It's going to take effort, but you could do it. Well, I'd like you to meet someone who's a great inspiration. And actually, he's an inspiration for many reasons. He's actually a guy who grew up, in the Northeast and wanted to ski for a long time. Yeah. And that's why he lived his life near a ski hill. So he moved out to Wyoming. That's right. And actually Idaho and Wyoming. And he's working out there. And actually, he was a furniture maker. He was making furniture. But he contracted, I guess is the name, an illness that required him to drink a lot of water. And he was driving down the road one day, and the top of his water bottle fell on the floor as he was driving and got stuck behind the pedal, the gas pedal. So he had his eureka moment. Why don't we have water bottles that has a magnetic, top that could stick right to the water bottle when you take it off? So he decided to invent one. He didn't know anything about the technology or anything like that, and just went on investigating. And that's what's so neat about our world today. You could take any idea and get free help to figure out how to do it. People are out there giving it for the information for free if you approach them correctly. That's it. You don't just pay thousands of dollars to get professional expertise anymore. No. So he developed this water bottle, and actually this water bottle not only saves you money without buying all that water and saving the planet from the billions of dollars of empty water bottles we have in plastic, and he was saying things like it's really important when you see this, like a third of the a regular bottle of water, you fill out a third of oil. That's how much oil it takes to make one of those plastic bottles. So we're wasting everything. And it takes like twice as much water to make that bottle as the bottle holds. So we're wasting a lot of stuff when we're using those plastic bottles. So he wanted to solve that problem, and figured out a way to do it. And actually, besides saving money and saving the water bottle, because it has a magnetic top, you could make it float in the water, and it points due north because it's like a compass. So you'll never get lost in the woods. Plus, he got $15,000 on the internet to make this thing happen. So watch this. Well, Stephen Kiddo, you're going to save the world with your bottles, and you're going to save mankind by drinking more water and be on the cover of Earth Day this year, I think. You're going to be the poster child for Earth Day because you're insulated bottles now that you have on Kickstarter. You're raising money. Man, you sold hundreds of them already, and you just started. And they're really cool with this. I don't understand this technology with the magnet and the lid for this thing. How'd you do that?
Well, yeah, it's got that's right. It's got a magnet in the lid, and it's a stainless steel bottle. And what we did was I put a ferromagnetic band. It's a metal that attracts.
You got one there? Make the noise. When those suckers click together.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
See, there's the magnet.
Wow.
And so you can drink out of it. You can fill it up real easy. set it by the side of the sink, and it'll air dry.
Yeah, wow.
Put the lid on, it won't dry as easily.
And that's like 28 ounces, right? So this is a big gulp, huh?
Yeah, these are actually, these are 20.
20.
Yeah, we have a single-walled bottle that we came out with a couple years ago.
I see. Oh, that's the
it's
28. I
yes.
see. So this is 20. Well, that's more reasonable. I mean, some of these things, like at 7-Eleven, you get these things look like bathtubs. You got to drink out of. Yeah. So this is
64 ounces. Yeah.
Right? This is reasonable. But more importantly, I mean, it seems like the ecology aspect of this, how we're really ruining the planet with these plastic bottles, and you were giving me some data, like the amount of water it takes to make one of those bottles is twice the amount of water that it holds.
That's right. Yeah, at least that much water to make a one-use plastic bottle.
Yeah. And then you have another figure about oil, which is even more disturbing, how much oil it takes to make one of these.
And just last week, actually, San Francisco banned the one-use water bottle.
Wow.
On all of their public buildings and for festivals and things like that are public owned.
So you can't sell these plastic water bottles anymore in San Francisco.
Yeah, they won't. No, yeah, they don't do that. So they have filling stations. So and a lot of there's a city in Connecticut that's the same way. And the one thing he was demonstrating was he was in a couple of news conferences holding up a one-use plastic water bottle, and if you fill the plastic water bottle 33% with oil, that's how much oil it takes to manufacture.
Wow.
Yeah, transport and
so we're using billions of these things a year, right?
like 36 billion, I think.
Wow.
They say.
And so we could solve our oil crisis if we just use your container.
There we go. It's the one thing we all have in our toolbox to help a lot of these problems.
But I mean, to me, what's nice about your bottle is that it's not just bottle. It's almost like a work of art. I mean, the shape, the design, the colors I'm in love with. I need one of every color to match all my suits. See, now I can color coordinate my water bottle.
I can laser etch a question mark on
one. Oh, now you're talking. And it's reasonable. I mean, these things are, but it's a sale now. I mean, if you get them early now on Kickstarter, you're going to save money than buying them when you're in the Walmart.
Free shipping.
Yeah.
Free shipping. So there'll be 30 retail. They're 25. I think there's a few left at 25 and free shipping, and then it goes up to 30, but it's free shipping. So
be the first in your neighborhood to get color coordinated water bottle. Yeah, but I mean, it is that magnet thing. But to me, the other thing is that you told me, and I wish I could steal it, but that the lid is a compass. So when you're out hiking with your water bottle, you'll know where true north is. How does that work? How does it be turned into a compass?
Well, like so, if you were lost in the woods, you could take the lid,
right?
And you could make a little spot on the side of a stream, say, or in a little still pond, and drop this lid. It floats in the water, and it'll orient and point right to north.
Right to north. Gosh. So you should have that. So it's really a water bottle and compass.
I call it it's the most functional water bottle on the planet.
Right. Yeah, those plastic things are not functional. They can't even tell you where you are.
They can't. Exactly.
Well, that's wonderful. Now, but you were a furniture designer for this. Now, why did you get into water bottles?
Well, I've always liked design and always wanted to invent something, I guess. So that was really what I stumbled on this. I was driving down my road and my lid fell off the console. I like to drink out of this style bottle. I drink a lot of water because of a health condition. PKD is a health condition I have. My father had it as well, and
that requires you to take more water.
I drink a lot of water.
Yeah.
But anyway, the lid fell under my gas pedal.
Wow.
And I thought, and it was kind of a hazard. And I thought, wait a minute. I'm like, you can have a tether. They break eventually. But I thought, why can't I put a magnet on the lid and stick it to my metal bottle? And I did a little research, and I realized that stainless is not.
I see.
Not
You start learning about it. You're using your background in biology now and science.
Yes, and I realized, I could add a piece of ferromagnetic metal, which attracts a magnet. And we ended up embedding it. In the beginning, it was on the outside, and now it's embedded between the 2 layers of the vacuum.
I see.
There's 2 layers to this bottle. It's actually two layers of metal.
Yeah.
And between those layers, we remove the air, and that's what creates the vacuum that insulates it from hot or cold. But that's where we have the ferromagnetic band. So
I mean, I hear even over the internet that that connection. When that connects, man, it's not like you have to rip it apart. You'll be a strong man, so you'll never lose this thing.
That's been something I've worked on for quite a few years, and finally got it to the point where I really like the connection. Yeah. I could make it so strong that Grandmom couldn't get it off.
Oh, right. Oh, really? So you calibrate this thing, huh?
But yeah, because you can get different pull forces and different thicknesses of metal, right? So now I've got this nice combination of
not too hard, just enough. Goldilocks, just enough, right?
So it's not going to fall off when you're walking around or using it, but you can still get it off, or your kid can get it off.
And you can just slam it on your car and drive down the street, and it's still there.
Right? Well, you definitely can. I wouldn't put it on your bike or your car and drive down the street, but you could stick it there and it'll hang out, even when it's got water in it, or you could go to the gym and stick it to the side of gym equipment.
Wonderful. So it's called Liquid Hardware, right?
That's right.
And you're on Kickstarter. It's still fundraising, but you can go to liquidhardware.com and find out all about, you call it the Sidewinder, right?
The Sidewinder. Yes, and the outrigger is the single-walled bottle. Which
I see this. Okay. But I mean, it's an elegant design, beautiful colors, and that magnet is just going to last forever, it seems. But more importantly, you got that compass. So when you got your water bottle and you're out in the woods, you know where the hell you are, you're going to use Steven's compass and get you home safe.
Never lose your lid and never lose your way.
Hey, there's a saying. Well, thank you so much, Steven, and thank you for doing this for the rest of us.
I appreciate this. Yes.
You bet. Take care.
Have a great day.
Okay, so you must have an idea. Try it. I mean, see, you don't have to be the most perfect person in the world, the most talented person in the world, or educated person in the world. There's help out there. And in addition, there's money too. Okay, now here's a guy who developed a website that's better than Google. Actually, it's better than Google if you're looking for how to get free money on the internet. See, right now, I mean, we've talked about crowdfunding and those other sources of free money on the internet. Well, what this website does is go to all these, and there's really over 1,000 websites that have projects on them that are raising free money on the internet. Okay, so whether it's Kickstarter or GoFundMe, I mean, there's literally over 1,000 of these things. So what he's doing is creating a database of just the projects that are on the websites looking for money. So if you go into Google and put something, you're going to get gazillions of projects or not projects or anything with that name or close or whatever. You're going to get all this kind of crap, and you're never going to live long enough to figure out what you really need. So this is one place. It's sort of like our website, you know, for government programs. If you put in grants, you know, on Google, you'll get 50 million websites. Us, we only have 17,000 of the real web pages that give out free money, not all this other stuff, people selling you something and things like that. So that's what he's doing for getting money on the internet, crowdfunding and other free money sources. But what's more important about this is a place you could go if you're thinking about getting free money on the internet or your crowdfunding. You can go here and see similar projects. Like, I want to know everybody who's getting money for a book. You know, how much they got, how they did it, what it looked like, who are the winners, who are the losers, and not just from one crowdfunding site, but from all the crowdfunding sites. And so you see the competition. You see what winners like are out there. I mean, you know, you don't want to do stuff that's dumb, and you need information to be able to make intelligent decisions about what you're going to do. So this is a way to make intelligent decisions about your project to raise money. You're an inventor. You have an inventor for a new widget or something like that. So you look at all the widgets, you know, that are out there that already got money or didn't didn't get money, and try to look and say, hey, what was good, what was bad, so you could, want to steal from these other people who are out there in the seas with all the sharks in them already, to see how to avoid the sharks, and survive in this game. So that's what's neat about this, and it's something after my own heart, because I'm an old database guy. I mean, back in the 70s, I have an MBA in designing management information databases, and when computers back then were as big as this room, not as big as this phone. That's how old I am. But it's still, I mean, it's how you collect the information. That's why the internet is good with quantity. So it handles large amounts of information, but it doesn't handle quality. You can't tell a good thing from a bad thing. So this is another way. This is a website that's, making the quality. Everything there is just people who got money. Free money on the internet for their project. So that's all you're going to search. See, now that's quality information. So watch this video and this interview that I did, and you'll be using this more and more as crowdfunding, because more and more popular, because it's really going to be very important in our world. Well, Peter Einstein with CF for all, and it's the number 4. You guys are creating like the world's best source of information for anybody who wants to know about free money on the internet, right? It's just incredible, and that's really, CF stands for crowdfunding. So it seems like you guys are really becoming the established go-to source for what's going on in crowdfunding, how to find projects, what are the best projects, and compare projects, who's doing what, and God, I mean, this must take, more than just one Einstein.
Yeah, we have a whole team of Einstein. Yeah, we've got some really, really smart people working for us. We've got our chief executive officer, it's got dual degrees in mathematics and computer programming. We've got and he's not even, he could be our CTO, but CTO with his own skill set, and we've got a great chief marketing officer, and everybody works really, really well together. And the brain power when we assemble, especially when we add our, we have an advisor, Jay Abraham, who's considered one of the great business minds of the planet by some people. So it's a pretty impressive group of thinkers.
But you seem to be on the ground floor of something that's really going to explode. I mean, right now, if you go onto Google and put in crowdfunding, which you guys are in charge of, Google has like 7 million websites already. So what's a person do when they think about, oh God, should I put a project on? How should I put a project on? Or where should I put money to be a funder and all that? Instead of screwing around with those 7 millions, you just come to your site, right?
Yeah, exactly. From your mouth to God's ears. Yeah, it is confusing, and we saw the opportunity a while back that when you search for Google, as in a lot of areas, the same thing goes with the airline. Airline. You're not going to look at Google and try to figure out how to book a flight. You're going to go if you don't have a specific airline to work with, and you go to somebody like Kayak, which is a search engine, but it specializes in one particular area. And
so they go to all the airlines and gather it for you, and then you say, hey, this is the best flight to take or whatever, and you don't have to go to the airline. So that's what you're doing for and there's really thousands or more of crowdfunding sites now. You're doing that for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're in the early stages now, but we still, even at this point, we have about 20,000 active projects, which is still pretty impressive. Yeah. That's going to grow exponentially as we're adding what they call white label providers, which are the people who provide the software for other people to make crowdfunding platforms. Right. And there are also people who allow people to do it yourself, to turn their own websites into crowdfunding sites. So we're working with those people as well. So that's going to grow the size of our network, if you will. So if I wanted to start I had this idea and I want to see if I could go crowdfunding, how could your site help me, think through that idea? Or what can I get from your site? Well, the first thing you want to do if you're even contemplating going into crowdfunding as as an activity, you've got a project that's been you've been mulling over and thinking, gee, one day I want to do this.
Yeah.
This is if I could only get the funding to do something like this, my life would be complete. So the first thing you need to do is really research it. Look for those keywords, those categories, those subcategories that are similar to what you're going to go into.
You mean on your site, you have like 20, 30 categories. Yeah, right.
Search,
I mean, you go, whether it's
search
art or fashion or whatever
who
the heck.
else has done this before that you could learn from.
Yeah.
Were they successful? Did they fail? And we also allow people to find projects that have failed that you might not be able to find normally.
I see.
Gee, that looked like a good idea, and let me check them out.
What happened?
Where did they go wrong so I don't do the same thing?
So you can learn from other people's mistakes on your site that you can't on the other crowdfunding sites because they get rid of their programs once they say.
Well, they're not all that proud of the fact.
Well, I mean, but it's like going to the library to learn something, and we learn from history, and so that's what you're trying to do. But also you can see, the current people that are, actively crowdfunding on something, what they're doing, that seems to be their success, and you just copy it. I mean, it's the best way to learn to me. See what the winners are doing.
You don't necessarily copy it, but you see, okay, I'm going to be doing. You don't want to come out with something that's a Me Too product,
right?
But what you want to do is you want to say, okay, here's a niche. Here's something that people haven't done before.
Right.
Now that I know what they did do, now it's if I twist that around, then I have a new thing. I'm filling a need. Somebody may have gotten 90% there, but that last 10% was the difference between success and failure.
And that's where it comes in, knowing the market. So you're able to put the market there in front of people to understand the existing market, what's out there for people to support in crowdfunding, and how to be different than them, so that you attract your audience.
And then of course, we have another area that allows people to engage the crowd. They get their friends and family behind them, whether or not they've got a rich uncle that's going to give them $5,000, to start their campaign off. We have a thing called crowd credits.
Crowd credits? So that's like money I'm getting when I go to your site?
Not quite, but it's almost as good. Is every time somebody uses our search engine, they earn crowd credits. And every time you do a search, every time you click through to one of the projects and learn more, while you're on those projects on the sites, and you spend time there and you watch a video, whatever, those things earn you crowd credits. And when you engage in a question with the project creator and you learn more. So then you have these crowd credits, or your friends have these crowd credits, and they can then donate them to your project. Even before, in some cases, we'll be doing this in the future, even before it launches. And this is important because people will give money to projects that they think other people also
So in other words, with these crowd credits, I could endorse a product and push it up on your website search kind of thing. It comes more to the top.
Actually, the crowd credit score increases the ranking when someone searches for your project. Your ranking will be higher. And they call it SEO, search engine optimization.
Right.
And so it's a way for people to compete against other projects that may be very similar, or compete if you're on a small platform that nobody knows about, but you're there because you think that they specialize in an area, but they're not as big as Kickstarter.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You can compete. In fact, not only on a level playing field, we actually tip the playing field in your advantage.
Wow. So cf4all.com, and that's the number 4, and CF is crowdfunding. It's a place really to go when you're really just trying to learn about crowdfunding, because you see what it's all about in one place, because you got everybody contributing their projects to one place, and then to decide if you decide if you want to do a project someday, to see what people are doing, or to encourage other people with your credits. Man, you're playing God here. With these crowd to help promote sites.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily. Come
on, you're a copywriter.
My lawyers are going to have to look that one over.
Well, Peter, this is wonderful, and I think the industry, I've been following it for a year or so now, and it's in certainly need. There's so many flying saucers going around the internet with this stuff, and you are now the one place that has all the data that we can all keep track of and learn from everybody else instead of spending 15 hours searching different websites. It's all on CF4, the number 4, all.com, right? Thank you, Peter. Okay, well, actually, that's a database I wish I did. I mean, I love organizing big amounts of data that other people can't do and don't have the time or the inclination to do. And I spent a career doing that. So my hat's off to these people trying to organize all this data for the rest of us. Okay, I bet you never thought of this. You just think of something you always wanted to know about, like something that really interests you. You go learn it because everything is on the internet now. You can find out anything you want. You go learn it. You study it for a couple months or whatever. And then you take that information that you found out about and put it on the internet and get $10,000 selling it. And before you even finish writing the whole thing, you get the money. So you can finish writing the whole thing and you have a product. So you've started a business doing nothing. Not spending any money anyway, but just putting your own time and energy into something that other people may want, and you don't even have to spend money figuring out if they want it, because there's websites out there you could put it on your idea. After you learn all this stuff, you just describe it. I'm going to do this book, I'm going to do this program or whatever it is, this video, and see if anybody else wants it. And this next video will show you how this young man did this and got $10,000. And what it was, he always wanted to write an app. He's not a geek or a nerd or anything like that, but wanted to know how to write one of those little apps you put in here. And so he was going on the internet and trying to research and figure all this stuff out and whatever. And he said everything there was dreadful to learn from. So after he finally figured it all out through trial and error, he said, hey, what this country needs is a simple little course on how to write an app. Anybody could do it. There's a simple way to do it. Sure, there's very big, complicated ways to do it, and there's simple ways to do it. So actually, I'm going to take this course that he did, because I always wanted to know. I'm in the information business. I would like to know something more about that. So he did this, put it together, but didn't even finish it. And before he even finished, he put it on the internet, and started getting money. And he's raising $10,000 for the finished project, and everybody who contributes really will get a product too when he's done. So that's a way to start a business with no products. I mean, you're just creating air and information, and you're getting it for free on the internet, and then you're getting the money without costing you any money. Now, isn't America great? So watch this video, and he explains how he does it, so you can do this too. Well, Taylor Beck, man, you're going to teach the world how to, everybody's going to be an app developer, right? And you're really raising money on a crowdfunding site, that to help support this course, so the average person on the street now can learn how to use a computer and make their own app on anything, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yep. So, what made you do this? How'd you get the idea?
Well, when I was first starting out learning app development, there were so many problems that I faced, and I spent about 4 or 5 months just finding a good resource to learn from. And that's just a lot of wasted time. And so what I want to make is a course for people that so they can just focus on the learning, because that's the important part.
Well, I mean, do you need a computer science degree to do this, or what?
No, yeah, you can be a fireman, you can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, or you can be a stay-at-home mom. anything that you are, beginner. Go ahead.
What makes it that easy? I mean, is it like I'm going to write a letter on my computer, so I'm a writer, So if I learn, why is it so easy to do an app? I mean, that sounds like software and computer insides or something like that.
Well, that's the thing. There's that barrier to entry, which makes it seem, really hard to get into and learn. But what I'm doing is I'm starting at a very beginner level, so we go from the very, very basics, so that you understand, and then we work our way up, and that's just how it
I
works.
see. So in other words, your course that you have, and by the way, it's cheap as hell. What is it now? If you get in on the first deal on the Kickstarter thing, is how much?
Yeah. So the complete package for learning app development is $49 on
$49.
right now.
Man, I was looking at an app development course, and they're going to charge me $2,000-$3,000 to go to this thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, exactly.
No, man, I'm going to be a customer as soon as we get off the air here. But so you're saying that, okay, I don't know anything. I was an English major or something like that, and I could go on this course, and by the end of it, it sounds like I'm putting together a little app, whether it's 1 + 1 = 2 or a little game or whatever, to see the basics, and I don't even have to know algebra.
Yeah, I'll teach you from the very, very basics, and you'll have no problems, promise.
Well, why do these people who charge $3,000 are really going to be pissed at you, aren't they?
Well, I'm not too sure about them, but I just wanted to provide something that was affordable and allowed people just to learn all the skills that they wanted to succeed.
Well, I mean, but what I think is cool is that now you're helping people. It's sort of like become the new writers of the 21st century, because my century is like the 20th century, and that's over. And I wrote books. I wrote 100 books. But now. We publish like 350,000 books a year, but there's like 1 million apps already. So it's you can't learn how to write anymore. You have to learn how to communicate this way, and you're doing it for $50.
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's amazing. And so because you were struggling so hard with this stuff, you understand how an average person, whether you're a stay-at-home mom, could just get on her PC or Apple or whatever and learn in a few hours how to make a simple little app, and that leads to something else, and soon you're working for NASA.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who have thought about apps, and everyone has an app idea.
Yeah.
And they want to make some side income, an extra $100 or $1,000 a month, and with apps, if you do it the right way, that's totally possible.
Huh. So you're saying too that then, because what you didn't know how to write an app before you did this, right?
No.
Okay. So in other words, you spent a couple months struggling through how to write an app, finally figured it out. Now you're going to help everybody else not do those struggle for 3 months. But what you're really saying is that if you know how to write a simple app, you have a product to sell to anybody, right? Whether it's the local donut shop, you could do an app for them about when's the best time to get a donut or something like that. So you're making the perfect home business like you are for yourself, right?
Yeah.
But actually, if people want you develop an app, you do it on a per revenue basis. So in other words, you don't charge any money to do an app for a business. You charge them like just a percentage of the new business you gave them, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, what made you do it that way instead of taking all the money first?
Well, there are a lot of people that see apps for their businesses as sort of just a marketing product and part of their marketing budget. But I just really wanted to show them that it's more than that, and it's an actual business asset that can increase their revenue. So that's partly why I do it. Yeah.
So you have basically here is I could start a business for $45.
yeah, that's the idea.
In other words, I could go spend $45, learn how to write an app from you, go to local businesses, and then because it takes, I don't need the app store or any of this kind of stuff. I'm selling a service, so I need no overhead. I already have a computer if I already learned it, and I go to local business or businesses on the web. Hey, I'll do an app for you, and let's share in the revenue. And that's what you're doing with your business. And making very nice money, it sounds like.
Yeah. I think so that's on the freelancing and consulting side, and a lot of people are interested in that. And I think a lot of people are interested in making apps sort of for themselves too, and having their own type of apps.
Like
in
what?
the apps.
What would a person want for their own apps? Like where their kids are or something like that? Or
So, there are apps, like everyone says, there's an app for everything nowadays. And what really is the case, like you have to, find the problem that people are having in a niche first, and then go after building an app for that niche.
But you said a personal app. You didn't mean like just an app for one individual person. You mean for a personal app for lots of people, right?
Right, yeah.
I
So
see. Oh,
usually when you have a problem, there are quite a few people who have that as well.
I see. So you're a stay-at-home mom. You worry about babysitter. So you say, "Hey, what we need is a little app for this," and then so you talk to other moms and whatever, and then you build your app and you put it in the app store, and now you're an app fortunist or whatever, or heiress or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can make an app for stay-at-home moms to help manage their kids or something like that, that's definitely something that could be big.
See, that's it. And I can't get over this. It takes $45. Now this is what it's on Kickstarter now, $45, and that's for about 2 more weeks. What will it be after that? Will it be a lot more or what?
I haven't decided exactly what it will be, but it will be more. Yeah,
it'll be more. That's right. People should go out and get this in 2 weeks if they're thinking about it, because you're going to pay a lot more for it when it's developed. And how soon will you deliver after the 2 weeks?
So my delivery time is the course is broken down in a few sections. So the delivery on those will be between the late April and between the middle of May.
Oh, I see. So you're just a month out, right?
Yeah.
That's terrific. Yeah. So now it'll be learning online or on a CD or something, or
yeah.
What is
so
the
entire course will be hosted on a website. So you'll be able to go to a website, click on all the videos, go through those. There will also be a forum on there, so you can ask the other members and myself questions and get help right away.
Oh,
and there'll
cool.
just be a lot of different features that'll help you go along the way.
So really, you're writing your app is a training course, right? Yeah. So it's training people how to use them. Maybe that's what I should do about government programs. I should write an app for people how to learn how to use government programs. Well, that's right. But more importantly, I think you're creating you're showing people how they need very little money. You go out and learn something for a few months. You learn how to do it. You put it on the internet. It costs you hardly nothing to do that, and you raise over $8,000 to do it. And you're helping other people with what you learned. I mean, what's better than that? And from what you learned, you started your own consulting business, and so you got a business in a box here for $45.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Well, that's wonderful. And to get this, actually, to find you on Kickstarter anyway, best to go to taylorbeck.me. TaylorBeck.me.
Yeah.
You get there, you always know about him forever. If you want to know about his services and see how he can make you more money with an app that he's not going to charge you for, just take a piece of the money, right, that you make from him. And which is a wonderful way to do business, because then it shows you that what you're providing is really a value, and you only want to get paid if it's real value to the customer. And there's not a better way to market to me than that, because then you know what you're really worth. Well, thank you so much, Taylor. Great to meet you. And you're just a year or so out of school, right? And you're doing this, and you're this app entrepreneur already. Well, good for you. This is what America's all about, and we should all be inspired with your energy and creativity. So thank you so much, Taylor. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay, what are you going to do? Come on, Serge. Go around, think of something. Everything you do during the day, think, hey, would that be a good idea? Find out. Or what's really inside you want to know? You want to know about everything about baseball or whatever the heck it is? Maybe there's a product there. Whatever your interest is. And then you package it. You do all the research for the rest of us. That's what I've been doing for a living. Anybody can find out all the information I find out. I get it for free from the government. But nobody spends the time getting it. See, that's what our world is now. So you could package this stuff that you're really interested in and save the rest of us all this time and energy finding it.